Hello guys, at the end of 2024, I hope to release this still in this year. And we have here 3 charts and each of them is reflecting the missed opportunity. And we will try to find out what is the pivotal yoga in the chart which is causing them, and if we can find them in our charts, then we will be able to diagnose time and give the remedy. And we will also use the dashas, and these are very important because dasha is showing which planet is active at specific point of time in your life. And then if you know, oh, this planet is active, then you know what's going on. And therefore, at the heart of the whole today's investigation, if we will find some, let's say, suspect, the usual suspect, then with the help of the dashas, we can be sure, yes, this planet is responsible for that specific stream of activity in that person's life. And these dashas are very objective, they are fixed. Of course, they are different for each person, but they are not subjective to the interpretation or analysis or school. It's always from this to this period you will have, for example, the Venus ruling in your life. First, let's do the intro and then let's go to the analysis. And about the mistakes, some will say that it's all predestined, that each neuron is running based on the other movement in our brain. So it's either the socio-economic environment or it's a biology. So for example, the Robert Sapolsky in his book The Stein, which I'm reading now, is giving that quite, we could say, dystopian or quite pessimistic view, from my perspective at least, that we don't have free will at all, that everything is destined. We also know that there is Sam Harris and also other scientists who are sharing this kind of view. And there is a very interesting fragment which I will read now, because this very much is related to how also planets are behaving in the chart, that you have one planet, but depending on your situation in your life or the rest of the chart, that one same planet is or can give very different types of events in your life. So the one planet in the chart is like category or the umbrella for many, many things. And then you need other positions in the chart or the knowledge about your Kala Dasha or Patra or the time, space, and the situation to really unveil what it can happen. I will just read that. Suppose someone has a gene variant related to aggression. Depending on the environment, that can result in an increased likelihood of street brawling or of playing chess immensely aggressively, or gen related to risk-taking. Depending on environment, this will influence whether you rob a store or gamble on founding a startup. So you can see completely different results, but having the similar base. And continuing, a variant of dopamine receptor gene makes you either more or less likely to be generous, depending whether you grew up with or without secure parental attachment. That same variant is associated with poor gratification postponement if you were raised in the poverty. There is also one variant of a gene that directs dopamine synthesis is associated with anger, but only if you were sexually abused as a kid. One version of that gene for the oxytocin receptor is associated with less sensitive parenting, but only when coupled with childhood abuse. So many of us know that there are those genes which are somehow having impact on how we live. But from this book, we also are informed that there are those different variants, and those variants will get activated in specific socio-economic situations or just depending on the other factors in your life. So let us start with the first example, Sam Shepard. And here we have person who is continuing the father's tradition. His father was a physician and he had 3 sons, and one of them is this person we will analyze here. All of them, all of the siblings were also going in that footsteps of the father. We can see that 9th Lord Moon, which shows the father, is in 10th house of career life with the Rahu. The Rahu, which is showing the research, is in 10th house in the Rashi and in the Navamsha, the chart, which is also very important to formalize the one's career life. And also we can read that he conducted many studies, so that Rahu is rightfully there and he used his potential. And as we see, his life had many twists, because first of all, he was wrongfully convicted for the murder of his wife. For 10 years, after which he was acquitted. The conviction started in Rahu Saturn, and we see Saturn is in the 12th house of the jail in this chart. And he was acquitted in the Rahu moon. This is very important because he has all of the planets between the nodes. So this is like the Kalamrita yoga. And when moon and Jupiter are joining that axis of Lagna and 7th house or the nodes, then one will be released and one also can fight in the similar direction of pushing the freedom. So in his case, when the moon was activated, then he was released, right? And after that, there is a time for Jupiter Dasha. After Rahu, we have Jupiter. So exactly at Jupiter, he got his qualification for neurosurgery come back, so he could start his own clinic and regain that permission to conduct the surgeries in Jupiter. Jupiter is in the Lagna, so it's like the showing the true Jupiter will bless him with many things, and also in the Dashamsa, in the chart of work, that same Jupiter will be in the Ascendant, which is showing he is restarting his career life. But unfortunately, this is not the end of the story. He was heavily drinking also, and 6 from Arudha Lagna and Arudha Lagna Lord, the Sun, are very much influenced by the Saturn. So when that happens, one is prone to such weaknesses. And also we know that 5 days after he got that permission to be a surgeon again, he had commit a very big mistake in which his patient died. And a few months after that, he had another surgery and he again committed the mistake, and again this was internal bleeding and also the patients died. And now, after the release, because of that mistake and surgery, he is again, we could say, object of litigation, object of the problem. You can see that Mars 6th Lord is with that Saturn in 12, and guess what? That was at the time when Jupiter Saturn started. So again, in the Rahu Saturn, the Saturn 12 has put him in the jail. And now when the Jupiter ended, when he got that permission in Jupiter, and again Jupiter Saturn started, he again is committing those mistakes and he has litigation. At the peak of all those quite a challenging situation, he is totally bitter and is turning off with all that career life and medicine, and he's making that very interesting shift to wrestling, and he is getting that nickname Killer, which refers to his allegation in previous phase of life related to killing of his wife. Also quite interesting twist, we could say. And after a few months or years after that shift, he dies because of a liver problem. We can see that in the Navamsha, the 6th Lord is Jupiter and has this big yoga with Jupiter. Jupiter and Rahu is showing the killing yoga for homicide, and 6th house shows how the partner dies. And also 12th house in the Navamsha shows how you will die. And this Jupiter, Rahu is also there, and Jupiter is also the reflecting to the liver. So that same yoga, interestingly, is depicting very precisely both the situation of the demise of his wife or partner and also of his. And that time also was related to that Scorpio when that Jupiter is there. And of course, the Navamsha is Libra, Mercury and Moon are rightfully aspecting the 10th house of career life, so it's showing the money from doctor, and Mercury is also showing sportsman in the sign of Saturn. Saturn shows wrestling or all those sports which are depending very much on the muscles of the body, which very much is related to the Saturn. So all that is there. Now, it could have some value to ask or to understand what is the relation between him being a bad surgeon and his chart. And we can observe that the Mars, which is responsible for cutting the skin, because the yoga for surgeon is Mercury and Mars, so the Mars is very weak in the Navamsha and in the Dashamsa. They are in the Cancer. In the Dashamsa, this is 7th house of patients or people who are like clients, right? And this mistakes when he was the surgeon happened in that Dasha when that Mars got activated. In different Dasha, but still the 7th house got activated. So we may suspect that it have something to do with that weakness of the Mars. So based on this chart, we have some suspects which planet could be responsible for that. Now let us go to the second example, David Gilbert. This person is a radical left activist and revolutionary who was a member of Weather Underground. This was a very radical left organization, I think in UK. And they commit also a mistake. He was later, after the release from the prison, in the interview, he said that he is now more active in that more peaceful strategy, and he considered that mistake. Basically, they robbed the money truck in New York, so probably he was maybe not from UK, and two policemen died in that action, and he was not directly involved in killing them, but he was driving the car, and through the law, if you are involved in the criminal activity, then someone dies, you are also responsible for that. So he got 75 years. After 40, he got paroled in 2021. He's still quite engaged, I think, in activism, but with different tools now. And this was definitely considered a mistake, right? Lagna Lord Mars is in the 12th with the Venus. And again, the Dasha is very important because through the Dasha, we can get to the essence of the planet, what is really going on. So one Dasha is highlighting the Venus, the other type of Dasha is related to the Mars. Again, we have something related to the 12th house. Those Dasha were operating at that time. Very tempting to move the Navamsha to the Scorpio because then we will have those Sun, Moon, and Rahu in the 9th house. And Jupiter, Venus. Venus is exalted. Always Venus is related to activism. The Sun and Rahu is this Tvastr vibe, which is also 11th house in the Rashi. We have Sun and Mercury in the 11th house, where probably also the Arudha is there. And therefore, there is something related to politics, but this is again the mainstream, right? It's always Rahu or 11th house, which is 7th from the 5th. So you are like opposing the government. Sometimes the 6th house also get activated in those type of revolutionaries. Interestingly, he was released in Mercury Saturn, right? So in the previous example, we have person who got into the jail and doing those mistakes after jail in Saturn Antardasha. In this chart, he got released in Saturn Antardasha. So definitely we cannot say that the nature of planet will give some specific event in your life. Like some people are saying like, oh, you are in Ketu Dasha, you will have this and that. No, it depends fully what that planet is doing in the chart. So you can see how the Saturn is giving totally different results based on what Saturn is doing in those specific charts. And the last chart, George Ernest, probably pronounced Boulanger. He was a French general, very popular at his time. He was criticizing very much the Third Republic. He had those very national sentiments, so completely now different political side, we could say. Many historians are giving his example as a wasted opportunity to regain the power because he had so big popularity and all of his followers are now waiting to take the power and regain the whole political space, and he just didn't do that. He resigned from, we could say, taking that whole efforts of his political movement, Dasha. Very, very important will be the Dasha here. And what he did, he escaped to Belgium, which was again a mistake. Didn't want to be accused of a treason. He had fears from civil war. And interestingly, he wanted to do it all by democratic means. But because he fled to Belgium, this was a big mistake, and now the French government acted swiftly and charged him of the treason, the thing he was afraid of. And then at the peak of all these big twists and those wasted opportunities, he committed suicide at the grave of his lover. And now going to the Dasha, because without the Dasha, many people, many schools can speculate a lot, but with that important factor and guide which highlights, oh, now this part of the chart gets activated, we are able to find the real cause of this problem. So this happened. I was really shocked, surprised, and really I had to include this chart. It was at the Mercury. So Lagna Lord in the 12th house. By the way, this was in 1889. Normally I don't include charts like before 1930, because I have this Rahu in Lagna. I'm quite afraid that there will be something not very accurate. But this chart, everything is reflected so well. And also we can see Lagna Lord in 12. He's doing that escape. And also Lagna Lord in 12 may show that he is going by Mercury, by ahimsa. He wanted to do it all by this norms, by this democratic means, and that was a big mistake for him. So I think you are slowly going now the trend or the pattern in all of these charts. And to recap, this is the ascendant lord or the Lagna lord in the 12th house. To make it even more broad, it could be said that if your Lagna lord or ascendant lord is in Dushtana 6th, 8th or 12th, one is prone to commit a mistake. And as we can see at those quite extreme situations, this was exactly there in the chart. And what is more important, the time, the Dasha, when those mistakes happened was very strongly related to that planet in the 12th house being the ascendant lord. So ascendant means your computer and ascendant lord is how you are using computer. So there was something wrong with using the computer. So what Shri Parashara Muni is talking about this position of Lagna lord in the 12th house. So the first word is Deha Saukya Vivarjita, which is created by many smaller words. Deha is about the bodies from the Dih, the form. Then we have Saukya, which is related to the comfort of Sukha. And then we have Vivarjita, which is basically meaning that one is somehow not getting those blessings. So this means that one may be having or be bereft of the material comforts in one's life. Then we have the Vyarta Vyai. Vya again is opposite to something, and Arta is the direction or meaning. Like we have Purusha for blessings of or direction of human's life. We have the Kama, Arta, Moksha, and Dharma. So here, Vyarta means that one doesn't have the purpose, and the Vyai is about the expenses. So again, this mix or this recipe of few words means that one is spending money on things without the purpose or without the bigger goal or cause. Then we have the Mahakrodi. This is from Krut, which is angry. Kroda is the anger. This is also one of the 6 ripus or the weaknesses of human beings. We have the Kama and Kroda and Matsarya, the jealousy, and many, many others. And here the Maha means the big, right? Like Maha Raj Yoga, this is your big king. So here you are Mahakrodi, so you have a big temper. The short-temperedness can be there. So Lagna Lord in 8 and Lagna Lord in 12, according to Shri Parashara Muni, is giving one with a big temper. And then we have something very interesting, Shubha Drik Yoga Varjite. And this is encompasses the 2 important yoga formation, which is the conjunction here by the word yoga or yuti, which is being in the same house, and the Shubha is here referring to benefics like Mercury, Venus, Jupiter. So if they are there, they could somehow make it much better or totally cancel those bad situations in the chart. And then we have the word Drik, which is related also to a direction, or Drishti, which is the aspect. So here this word is referring to either conjunction or the aspect of the benefics, which could totally cancel the yoga and make it much, much better. This phrase is repeated very strongly, very immensely, many times in that most important astrological treatise, the Brihat Parashara Horashastra. If there are benefics, either doing some yoga, making some formation, either by Yuti or by Drishti, we know also more complex yogas than those bad aspects of whatever is predestined to happen may be totally blocked, cancelled, or at least minimized. Okay, guys, so that's all for today. Thanks a lot for being here with me on this channel. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for the future content. If you'd like to have one-on-one consultation with me, hit me up with this email here and we can have this 90 minutes consultation on Zoom when we will exactly decipher what's going on in your not only Rashi chart, but also in the Varga chart, in the Navamsha and the Shamsa, and using many, many dashas and providing the remedies to change the situation, to block the negative and emphasize whatever good you have in your chart. And for more structurized knowledge, please consider purchasing the 3-module course, which will transform you from the beginner to the intermediate level, and join our Discord community when we are also having nice, lively discussions about Vedic astrology. And I wish you all the best in the new year. And if you are still hungry, please consider watching this one.